Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today we're jumping into some I Don't Work Here Lady. Our first story today comes to us from Elfie Star. Never wearing a black shirt again. Let's jump right in. Longtime lurker, first time posting. This story is long only because all these interactions happened in one day. For some reason, I've, 21 female, always been confused to work at places wherever I go since I was like 12. Be it at supermarkets, malls, or parks, someone always comes to me thinking I work there. This particular day, everywhere I went, people came up thinking I worked there. I work at the famous Green Apron coffee shop. Even though there isn't a set uniform, our dress code is typically a black shirt and some jeans. I just got off a 5 to 2 shift and was dead tired and annoyed with the customer interactions I had. Although all I wanted to do was go home and sleep, I had errands to run and planned to do shopping with my family. My first stop was to go grocery shopping with my mom as we were planning a family dinner for the weekend. I'm the shopper that goes to get what they want or need, while my mom is more of a browse shopper. So I was going back and forth from the cart to the different aisles to speed up the shopping process while my mom was browsing. I don't know where everything is at this supermarket, but I can read the signs and go from there. Since I kept coming back to my mom and dropping things off in our cart, this old lady that kept looking at me assumed I worked there. I would have helped any other day, but I didn't want to talk to anyone other than my mom, and I had my headphones on. As I was talking to my mom, the old lady asks me where something is. The interaction was in Spanish, so not everything would be translated word for word. "Girl, do you know where this item is?" I just quickly turned to her, "Sorry, I don't work here," and continued speaking with my mom and asking what else she needed. I can't really blame the lady for thinking I worked there given how I was asking my mom what she needed, but I wasn't wearing the green shirt and black apron the employees wear, and I had my headphones on. However, this lady was set on having me help her. I noticed the old lady watching me ever since me and my mom went inside the spices aisle, so I was able to see who was with her shopping. Since I didn't help her, the old lady sends her grown daughter to ask me a question. Once again I say, "Sorry, I don't work here." I didn't process that they were family yet until they sent their toddler and granddaughter to me. "Excuse me, do you know where this is?" I was getting quickly annoyed by this family not taking a hint, but I wasn't about to snap at the poor girl. Again I say, "Sorry sweetie, but I don't work here. Please tell your family to stop bothering me," and turn to my mom begging her to finish with her shopping. My mom looked at me disapprovingly for not helping this family. Before I can refute, I feel myself being grabbed by the shoulder and turned. This man I've never seen before angrily shouts at me, "Why are you only helping this woman and refusing to help my family? They even sent my 5-year-old daughter and you wouldn't help her." Even though all I wanted to do was scream and punch this guy for grabbing me roughly, I put on my customer service persona to defuse the situation. "Sir, I'm sorry that your family has confused me for someone that works here, but if you look for someone with a black apron, I'm sure they'll be glad to help you out. I'm shopping here with my mother and helping her out. Maybe if you do the same, your family wouldn't have asked me. Have a great day." And I forcibly grab my mother and the cart and fast walk out of that aisle. I was shaking in anger and anxiety. The family probably finally accepted that I didn't work there because I didn't see them again while we were in line. While on the car ride back, my mom told me that that man wouldn't have screamed at me if only I helped the old lady. I looked at my mom in disbelief, but chose to ignore her and not say anything. Putting that interaction behind me, I went to the mall with my twin brother and sister. Still wearing my black shirt and having headphones on, I went about shopping. We went inside the Disney store to buy a present for our niece. I was already done and paid for my present, so I was just looking around while my siblings were still deciding what to get. From the corner of my eye, I see this mom walking towards me, flagging me for my attention. I just look at her blankly, and then she registered I didn't work there. A simple sorry would have been fine, but she just had to put the blame of mistaking me for an employee on me. "It's just that you were wearing a black shirt. I thought you worked here. Maybe don't wear that so you don't confuse people." I just shrugged my shoulders and said, I don't care. Moving to different stores and buying things I wanted, I was the first one done with my shopping, so I asked my sister for the car keys so I can drop off my things. Looking for the entrance we came from, I was walking everywhere around this department store. This department store's uniform is black pants and a black shirt. Mind you, I have headphones on and carrying multiple bags. I'm walking towards the entrance where I think we parked. Two ladies are walking the opposite direction towards me, one in a wheelchair, the other pushing her. The one in the wheelchair snaps her fingers at me and starts to talk, but the one pushing her says something on the lines of, "Leave her alone, she doesn't work here." The one in the wheelchair then rudely questions, "Why would she be wearing a black shirt then if she doesn't work here? She needs to do her job, she's wearing a black shirt." Should I have ignored her comment and went my merry way? Absolutely. Did I say things and act a bit too far? Probably. But I was so tired and fed up of having these people speak to me so rudely and blame me for things I have no control over. I was off the clock and still had people screaming at me just because they thought I was a worker. I snapped at this lady. So I bent down to be at this lady's eye height. What am I supposed to wear then? I can't effing wear a black shirt now, cause you're too dense to see I don't work here. I got headphones on and carrying different bags from other stores. You know what? You look like you work here. You're wearing a black shirt and you don't know where things are. Call your manager over here. You're a terrible employee. This lady just looks shocked and is gaping at me and stuttering. The other lady pushing her just looks down in embarrassment and mumbles an apology and rolls the woman quickly away. I just stand there taking deep breaths to calm myself down. Eventually, I find the car and just wait for my siblings to come back. Haven't worn a black shirt since then, aside from when I work. But I still get confused as an employee. I guess I just have the look of an employee everywhere I go. Now, one thing I don't get about all these I Don't Work Here Lady stories is why the people don't just grab the opportunity and give them really horrible advice or tell them that things are completely on the other side of the store when they're really not. You want to know where the paper towels are? Yeah, they're in the freezer with the ice cream. Do me a quick favor, have a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're not actually subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. Our next story today comes to us from Yes It Matches. You have to work here. You're a woman. Let's jump right in. Let me start off with a few things. First, that I did in fact look like an employee. Second, although I am in my early 30s, I am often mistaken for someone just out of high school or a college freshman. Third, even though this happened literally an hour before I'm posting this, all quotes are to be understood as to the effect of and not exact wordings. Also, names have been changed to protect the guilty. My local hardware store is full of helpful hardware folks, which means there is not much of a uniform, but floor associates wear bright red vests and managers wear business casual with a name tag. I was wearing khakis, flats, and a cute red micro-plaid button up top. I was on my way home from a blissfully short day at work, so I figured it would be a good day to get some tools to make some simple repairs and some materials for a remodel that my partner and I have going on in our second floor bathroom. I was trying to get a couple of items from the top shelf, but only being a touch over 5'4" tall, I have a little bit of an issue, especially since they are the last two on the shelf. I managed to get the first one batted into my hand, but the second one is pushed back just enough that I can't exactly reach it. Enter Jethro. Jethro walks over and with a "Let me help ya, missy," grabs the box I'm trying to reach and hands it to me. Thanks. I keep my praise short because I'm not sure if he is just trying to be a good guy and help me, or if he is of the train of thought that a woman does not belong in a hardware store, except to be a cashier or arm candy for their husband. He wastes no time removing any doubt. I can't believe they would make you pull items and not let you have a step stool. "Oh, no sir, I don't work here," I start, only to be cut off by Jethro. "You have to work here, you're a woman. What else would you be doing in a hardware store?" Jethro says. "And why doesn't Jeb work here anymore? That old boy was one of the best, blah blah blah." I honestly toned him out at this point. I roll my eyes, figure I don't have time for this, and start to push my cart away from him. This spurs a bellow from the depth of Jethro's beer belly. "Don't you walk away from me, I'm a paying customer." I spin on my heels. Listen here, Billy, Bob, Joe, Danny, Frank. I understand your original confusion. Unfortunate fashion choice on my part, but I already told you I do not work here. Thank you for getting the blubs for me, but really, I do not work here. I am here because I am remodeling my bathroom. I yell back at him. His tone instantly changed to this sickly sweet implied "bless your heart" with every line as he said, "Redoing your bathroom? Well, I just happen to be a contractor, and I can help you with all the permits," he says before giving me a long, hard leer, like I was a gorgeous porterhouse steak cooked to medium rare and ready to be devoured. "And I'm sure we can come to an agreement that will make it both worth our whiles." Instant mouth vomit, figuratively of course. But before I can say or spew anything, enter the hero of our story, Ben. A few things about Ben. Ben is an imposing wall of muscle, literally was a bricklayer for years before he retired and then agreed to help his friend, the owner of this store. Ben may look like he could rip the arms off a Sasquatch, but he is a gentle giant. Ben pulls a move straight out of the Karen handbook and clears his throat, getting both Jethro and myself to look over at Ben. "Jethro, you know darn well that Jeb was fired because he shared your misinformed, misguided, and misconceived notions on who should and should not be allowed in this store. This is the early 20s, but not the 1820s. I've had enough of your racist and misogynistic BS to last me a lifetime. Set your cart down and walk away. You are no longer welcome here," Ben said with barely concealed rage. Jethro started with the "but, well," and Ben cut him off with a curt and authoritative "No, you leave now or the police will come and make you leave." And with his ego massively deflated, Jethro left. I was able to finish my shopping without any further interaction, after Ben apologized a couple of times, and we did have a good laugh about the fact that I did look like an employee. I like these stories where the person who comes in to help is a big, burly built person, but they use their brain and they're super polite to handle the issue. I also want to mention that a lot of times, depending on who you talk to in a hardware store, they might have more knowledge about how everything in there works and what you need to get a job done than your average contractor. Seriously. Our next story today comes to us from I Catch You One. Lady snatches dinosaur model out of my hands. Let's jump right in. So I was heading to a toy store, name redacted for privacy's sake, because they had informed me that they had the new Coelophysis model made by Safari Limited. I didn't have that model in my collection, and I usually order my models there, and I have a good enough relationship with the store workers to let me know when a certain model on my list is available. Or sometimes I prepay them to have a certain item in stock, and they have always provided. So I go into the store wearing a red shirt because I felt like it, and normally the toy store workers wear red, but they have tags on, so you know where this is going. So I enter the store and ask if they have the Coelophysis, and they point me in the right direction, since in this case it wasn't one of the models I prepaid them for. So I see the Coelophysis among other models, it wasn't the only one, and I get my hands on it. When I take it off the shelf, a lady says to me, "Oh, thank you, I can take it from here." I turn around and see this lady that looks like she's in her late 30s holding out her hand to me, expecting me to just plop the dinosaur in her hands. I was looking confused for a moment, and then she got frustrated and asked me if I was hard of hearing. I asked why she wanted me to hand over the model I wanted, and she asked what I meant. I was an employee. I suddenly got her assumption and told her that no, I don't work here. I was just a customer. She fumed and pointed out that I was wearing the same shade of red as the workers. I responded that red is not exclusive to this store, and if she would excuse me, I was going to purchase the Coelophysis. She then got intrusive and started asking, why would an adult collect dinosaur models? I responded that people are allowed to have hobbies and tried to move on. Apparently not satisfied with my answer, she blocked me and freaking snatched the Coelophysis out of my hands and went to the counter. I was about to shrug my shoulders and grab the spares, not wanting to escalate, until I realized that she had also taken the other Coelophysis models on the shelf. The other remaining models were of Brachiosaurus and Microraptor, by the way. A little bit infuriated by this, but keeping my calm, I went to the counter and asked her to give it back, and told the people at the counter that she had snatched the model out of my hands. They asked her if it was true, and she actually told the truth, but only because I was being a bad employee, lying about wanting the model for myself, and not providing good customer service. Now the counter workers, who had seen me enough times as a consistent buyer, pointed out to the lady that I wasn't a worker, and she got huffy. She then said that she was the proper purchaser because she was getting them for her kid, while an adult shouldn't be playing with toys. That maybe if I wasn't collecting them, I would properly become an adult. So one of the counter workers called the store owner, who came to ask what was going on. After explaining, he had a frown on his face and went to check the security footage. After seeing that she had snatched it out of my hands and had escalated the situation, he ordered her to give me my safari model or he would have her ousted from the store. Now the store owner is a big guy, so she withered under his gaze a bit and gave me my safari. I calmly thanked her. I really didn't want to have to deal with her any further, and the store people, but I will admit I did enjoy seeing her crumple at the sight of a very annoyed burly guy. And now I have a Coelophysis in my collection. Oh no, this lady has kids? I mean, with that attitude, she's gonna be teaching a whole other generation how to be a bunch of Karens. It also sounds like she's gonna be gatekeeping their hobbies, which really sucks for those kids too. There really should be a test for people to be allowed to be parents. Our last story today comes to us from Cat Got Your DM. I do work here, but not where you think I do, mister. Let's jump right in. So the whole thing happened a few days ago. Interesting detail, I am this company's CEO's daughter, but I got an internship through regular channels and HR, so no one knew it at the beginning. I will also be using present time because yes, on to the story. So I'm working away with another intern and I'm in the same office that the secretary works in. We are working on the new production line in the factory, and I'm working out some database kinks. I made that database and I'm mighty proud of myself. Because the dress code for interns is non-existent, and the company's dress code in general is pretty lax, I'm rocking a pretty blue skirt and an elegant black blouse. Also, I'm a blonde girl in her 20s. Suddenly, Mr. Karen barges in and starts to yell at me. I caught only parts of that, but it included the R word, secretary, dumb bee, etc. It took me a while to piece the whole story. Apparently, the guy was supposed to sign an important deal with a client, but someone, presumably the new secretary, made a mistake in the client's name typing it into the file, turning it into a curse word. I can't tell you the name of course, but it was like the client being Mr. Woer and someone typing in Mr. Whore by accident. So Mr. Karen is shouting at me, the other intern is pissing his pants, and I have no idea who this guy is. I don't work with people outside the production circle, clients, or anything. I just make the apps and databases that hold them. I try to tell him as much, but Mr. Karen's louder than me, and he says that I'm in big trouble, lost us a client, and other crap. I kept most of my cool as I worked in retail for a long while before, so you know, devils don't scare you anymore if you've been the assistant manager in hell. He says he's taking me to the CEO. So naturally, I go to the CEO's office. Mr. Karen comes in, all respectful suddenly, and starts explaining the situation. As he's about halfway through the first sentence, Dad, CEO, interrupts him and goes, "Wait, let me hear what she came to say first. She's working on the line starting on Monday, so everything has to be done today." Since I'm already there, I tell Dad about the issue with the system and the fact that we need to make a reboot that will make 2 other lines stop as well. He schedules the reboot for 6 p.m. the same day and sends me on my merry way. Mr. Karen started to get the picture because he didn't stop me when I went out. I hid in the toilet to write this stuff down for my friends and reported this guy's awful behavior on the way home. It turned out Mr. Karen was supposed to fill those things himself, but he pushed it onto a secretary and she misspelled the name in the document. Mr. Karen got a warning. Secretary got told not to accept documents from Mr. Karen anymore. He is to fill every single document himself, even those that usually would be secretary's responsibility. And I presume he met the real secretary at some point. I met secretary on Friday while rebooting systems for the new production line. Seems like a really cool person. She is also working the afternoons exclusively at this site, so you can't meet her before 5:30 unless you drive to the metalworking site. She also got a reprimand, tough as she did misspell a client's name, resulting in a curse word on official papers. So, I do work here, but not where Mr. Karen thought I did. Okay, hold up a second. So this guy used the R word, called you a dumb bee and more, and that wasn't cause for dismissal? Your dad's the CEO, what the heck went wrong there? Check out all 4 OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.